Head over to the brand new FriendoShop.com and get your latest Friendo merchandise. While you're there, use code FRIENDOFRIDAY to get 20% off. And don't forget to pick up Don't Interrupt the Game t-shirt right now. FriendoShop.com. Hey, Friendos, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Of course, available wherever podcasts can be found. And of course, we tape the show live, both on the YouTube and at the Twitch, twitch.tv/Steven Larson. So if you're around and you like one of those platforms to watch stuff live, we do it pretty much every day except for like Thursdays. And even on Thursdays, usually we have the Smash Zone.
Yeah.
On this episode of Going In Raw, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff because it was a busy weekend in wrestling. We've got recaps of Smackdown, Rampage, Ring of Honor's Final Battle, and NXT Deadline. We've also got a ton of news. We've got news on NXT Callups, a huge WrestleMania match that's potentially being set up. And, of course, we got more on Sasha Banks. But first, want to say this. Thanks to everybody, wrestlers, fans alike, for joining us on Saturday for Action Coast Wrestling. It was our first show, our first time producing a wrestling show. We announced, just like Ring of Honor announced their internet TV deal. We have our own internet TV deal on the Action Coast Wrestling YouTube channel. We're going to be launching the new, under Steven Larson management, ACW show Surge coming up very shortly. More announcements to come. But hey, man, honestly, it was a blast. We had a massive storm out here in Sacramento. On that day, and still we had a ton of people come out. It was a lot of fun, and there was just a ton of great wrestling. And I'm looking forward to the next show, February 18th. And the show is called Action Coast Wrestling Hot Stuff.
Whenever you feel you want a great tasting, great wrestling show, you go back to ACW again.
We'll figure it out. That's great, man. Hot stuff. Absolutely. So, yeah, man, it was a blast. Hopefully we get more people next time. Hopefully it won't be raining cats and dogs. But
I was worried I was going to be late to it.
Oh, yeah.
The weather.
Yeah. I got there. I got there right. Like I was pulling in. And Magnum was like, "Oh, the ring just got here," and I was like, "Oh, I was gonna be there an hour ago." And so like it was just a lot of standing around doing nothing for the first bunch of it. But no, it was a blast. Can't wait to do another one. So yeah. Anyways, let's dive into the news. First up, following news last week that Sasha Banks could be at New Japan Professional Wrestling's Wrestle Kingdom 17. Dave Meltzer reported on the latest Wrestling Observer Radio that Sasha Banks, as of right now, she's done with WWE. He expanded on that. WWE was talking to her about a return, and they were very far apart on money. That was the last I had heard. Again, could AEW afford her? She wanted a lot. What she was asking for was a very high number for a WWE women's wrestler. But again, if you look at the amount of money WWE takes in, she still would have been underpaid. Her contract was to expire at the end of the year. However, as we've seen with so many people in that company, she hasn't worked there, so they can freeze the deal, and they've frozen deals for people who have walked out. They've frozen deals for people who have been hurt. And we've heard over and over again, so many people who wanted to be free agents had to wait and wait and wait. Perhaps they just figured, we don't want to freeze you and you can go. Perhaps her lawyer said, we're going to challenge it and whatever. I don't know what's happened. Dave also confirmed that Sasha Banks is set to appear on Wrestle Kingdom, saying this: "I do know this. She will be going to the show. She will appear on the show. She will not wrestle on the show. She has dates with New Japan Pro Wrestling in her deal. I do not believe it is signed. She could still sign with WWE, and this could all fall apart, but she has pretty much agreed to their terms. So as far as they are concerned, they have a deal. I do not know how AEW fits in. Obviously, everybody is going to jump to the speculation that she is the mystery partner of Saraya against Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker on the Forum show January 11th. And now if it's not her, it's probably going to be a terrible disappointment. New Japan cannot afford to pay the numbers that WWE was willing to pay her. I can say that. AEW could obviously afford that, so it is a deal where she does both, perhaps. That I cannot confirm at all. I know when I asked AEW about it, I got a non-answer. So, much like everything else in the world of wrestling, until there are deals signed, anything can happen.
Yep.
But it seems fairly likely at this point that she does end up going to New Japan for Wrestle Kingdom. And then after that, anything's possible, I guess, Larson.
Yeah. I mean, we had speculated that she'd show up on January 4th show, maybe to after the Kairi Sane Tam Kitano match for the IWGP Women's Title, to set up a match with the winner of that bout at some later time. We talked about last week, it was maybe the second Wrestle Kingdom show. I think it's January 21st. I saw some speculation online that it could be, I think, the San Jose show that New Japan has going early next year as well. That match could happen there.
Yeah.
Obviously, you won't know until something's officially announced. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be pretty awesome for watching Wrestle Kingdom. Mercedes shows up to confront the winner of the IWGP Women's Championship bout to set something up down the line. That's going to get a lot of people talking.
Yeah, that's what you want, man. You just want that. You want people talking about your stuff in wrestling. There's so much going on these days.
Yes.
That this is pretty darn exciting. Now, for us, Wrestle Kingdom is throughout the middle of the night on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's Tuesday night. We don't do anything Wednesday morning, so there's the possibility that I'll just sort of hang out in my living room and stay up as late as I can. I don't know if staying up till 5 a.m. is going to be on my agenda, but I don't know. I've done sillier things.
Those days where I can't do that anymore. Sorry, I got Kyrie's opponent's name incorrect. Tam Nakano.
Nakano, yeah. But no, that's exciting, man. That's really awesome. New Japan's been doing a heck of a job, with their westward expansion, and this is kind of a cool deal. And yeah, man, she's probably going to take a pay cut to do something cool, as opposed to just go straight back to WWE, where she knows she can probably get a pretty big figure, even if they are apart on money. They could probably end up settling on something pretty decent for her, because she's a big deal. But here's the thing: she goes out, does this New Japan stuff, she's building more buzz for herself. Eventually, I'd be shocked if she didn't eventually go back to WWE, and in fact, I'd be kind of surprised if she wasn't there even for WrestleMania. But time goes pretty fast, and if she's having a lot of fun and she doesn't want to worry about that. Yeah. I mean, WrestleMania is one of those things. It's a big deal, so they might be like, okay, we'll pony up for a Brock schedule for her or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know. I mean, if she has an opportunity right now to go and do some of the stuff in wrestling that she wouldn't be able to do if she were signed to WWE, like, wrestle for Stardom, and wrestle here in the States for promotions that aren't WWE, why not do it? Because you love professional wrestling. You can still do all this other stuff that it seems like she wants to do while she's doing that, and not necessarily be tied to the WWE schedule, which isn't, as rigorous as it used to be, but you're still on the road 3-4 days a week. And it kind of limits your opportunities to do stuff outside the world of professional wrestling. So yeah. She'll
end up doing what she wants to do,
Absolutely.
WWE's not going anywhere anytime soon. Speaking of WrestleMania and big matches, let's talk about this, man. Oh boy, WrestlingNews.co is reporting that Brock Lesnar versus Gunther is one of the matches being listed internally for the Show of Shows.
Woo!
That is a dream match that, I'll be honest, I never figured we'd see. This is fantastic, man. This is great. Brock Lesnar coming in every 6 months or so and doing something cool. I kind of dig it. You set up all the big dream matches. If they somehow unbury Matt Riddle's creative, that's a match that I think would be kind of fun to see, just given their history. But yeah, no, this would be great. I hope they understand the value in having Gunther, a guy who's there every week, get the win over Brock.
Yes.
I don't give him any more of a 50-50 chance, though. I don't know who wins this match. Probably gonna be Brock.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Brock is in the phase of his career now where he's like, all right, I'll put some more people over. I mean, he's not. I know he doesn't lose a lot, but from what we could tell, especially since he's come back, he's really had no issues, as far as I can recall, putting somebody else over.
I'd be okay if it was the kind of thing where, because I thought they did the Bobby Brock thing pretty damn well at that last pay-per-view, the last one that they were on, and how Brock basically escaped Bobby, he did the thing where he had to get like a pin, sort of a maneuvered pin on Bobby, like a rollback. Yeah. But he really sold the crap out of the hurt lock. Yep. And it really did make Bobby look pretty darn good in a loss. And if they do the same kind of thing with Gunther, I don't know how Brock feels about chops, but he's been making a lot of money. He better eat a lot of chops, man.
Yeah, he's going to eat. His chest better be beet red.
Yeah.
Going back to Brock and Lashley, I mean, there's still that running thread going through Lashley's story right now that he can't get over that loss to Brock. Wouldn't surprise me if we get another match between the two of them at some point.
I was thinking that might happen at the Rumble.
Yeah,
I think that they're going to write Lashley off for at least a little bit, because how that's, because tonight's the big match with Seth and Bobby, and they set it up last week so that Bobby, he's on the verge of being suspended if he accidentally, gives the the muscle,
Petey Williams,
Maple Leaf muscle. Yeah, thank you. Another spear, which is totally going to happen. Seth's going to orchestrate that shit. And then, Bobby will be suspended for a little bit. Maybe it'll be, the Rumble's still 6 weeks away.
I mean, rather than have another one-on-one match, you could have Lashley eliminate Brock from the Rumble, and that would be his win.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, that'd be interesting. That'd be something. So yeah, I don't know. But now Brock versus Gunther, Brock, if he likes to work with somebody, then those matches are fantastic. So maybe here's the thing, if Brock is in a situation where he's sort of calling a shot, like they give him a list of things, hey, which of these interests you? If he chose, he's like, hey, Gunther sounds cool. That'd be badass, because then it'd be a good match. Yeah. But if he doesn't want to do it, you end up with a Dean Ambrose match.
Oh, and it's just bleh.
And it's horrible, Like, Brock's going to be like, I don't want to take any chops. It's like, what? You got to take chops, man.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I don't want to take a powerbomb. Nah.
Yeah, Maggie here in the chat saying, wait, the Rumble's only 6 weeks away. Where the hell is time going? Fuck yeah, I know, man.
I know.
I don't know why the hell. I just censored Maggie, but then I didn't censor myself. She said, where the fuck is time going?
Yeah,
and then I said, fucking, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know why you censor yourself, and I don't know how time goes by so quickly.
A lot of unknowns. Known unknowns.
A lot of unknowns in this universe, I'll tell you what.
But here's something that we might know. NXT is going to get some, or main roster is going to get some NXT Callups soon, perhaps. What's going on with this, Larson?
Yeah. So following a really good Deadline premium live event, more on that later. I thought it was a pretty excellent show. Fightful Select has some news on potential NXT Callups, reporting that sources have told them that Cameron Grimes,
you to the main roster.
And Von Wagner, dumpster champ.
Hey, Joe Blow's getting called up. Hey, I don't care.
Yeah. Have been considered for the main roster, with Grimes considered a natural fit for Raw or SmackDown. Sources also told Fightful that, quote, there will be more slow and steady flow of NXT talent brought to the main roster moving forward, to expect less years-long evaluation periods in NXT. And seemingly part of that evaluation process are matches for NXT talent on WWE main event, not in the main event, on the show main event. And sources informed Fightful that main event matches, again, the show main event, gives WWE higher-ups a, quote, more accurate reflection of how a talent would immediately connect with the main roster audience. But sources told Fightful that these matches on main event don't necessarily mean there are plans in place for that particular talent or talents to be called up. So it's seemingly just part of the evaluation process. If during these main event matches, which I believe are taped before Raw, yes.
Yeah, correct.
We kind of speculated maybe part of these matches too would be to see how well they could port themselves to wrestling a WWE style match using WWE's production methods.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
How they played a hard cam, the very fighting cameras during story beats in the match, that kind of stuff. But also, I guess, connecting with an audience. Even though I wouldn't expect there to be, for these main event matches, since it's before Raw, necessarily a full house.
People like eating there, they're like just sitting down, getting some popcorn. Yeah. What's this guy? Who's this guy? What's he all about? Tony D'Angelo. What's he?
Hard Justice. Who's Hard Justice?
Hard Justice. My goodness. What is this guy talking about right now? Yeah. Oh, T-Bar? Oh, I know T-Bar.
Oh, we know T-Bar. Why is he hard justice now? But you have someone like Cameron Grimes, who's probably long overdue for a main roster
This
call.
guy should have been called up 4 years ago. He should have done 1 year in NXT and then got called up. It's insane. Like, talk about not, being on the wrong end of, all the various shuffling around that's been going on with NXT over the last, couple of years. Yeah, he ended up on the wrong end of that because this dude came in ready for main roster. Like, Trevor Lee is main roster ready. He really should have debuted as the Cameron Grimes character on main roster. It's been nuts,
Yeah. Imagine the stonks gimmick on main roster.
Because he's main roster size too. Like, you might not think it, but he's like 6'1" or something like that. He's a taller dude.
Yeah.
And he's got his shit is straight up sports entertainment. And I hope
back to his Impact days. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's a long time. That's a long time overdue for him. So I'm happy for that.
As for Vaughn, I feel like they need to get his something going with his character before he gets called to main. Otherwise, he's getting lost in the shuffle.
You know what, dude? Given the predilection for factions the game has,
make him somebody's heavy.
Yeah, make him a heater. Yeah, exactly. That's all he's got to do. Just make him a heavy. He can't do anything else. I'm sorry, he can't. Come on, man. Like, it's been a year. There's been zero.
I know.
Improvement.
I know.
I mean, maybe a little bit on the mic here, like during the Grayson Waller thing with him and Braun a month ago. The Joe Blow stuff.
No, that wasn't strong. No.
I'm not going to say it was strong, but he didn't stumble. Look, you're going to put me in a position now to defend Von Wagner. I hate
you. You put yourself in the position to defend Von Wagner.
Over the span of a year, the fact that he doesn't stumble on the mic, I think, he's moved up a notch in the promo, but he's still a 5. When you're starting at a 3, that's some improvement right there. Yeah, Von Wagner, I don't know, man. They gave him a weird name, no gimmick, confused creative. He
basically no creative.
They brought him in and immediately made Kyle O'Reilly his young boy, which was weird in the first place.
Doesn't make any sense. It should be the other way around.
Yeah, so I don't know. He's a conundrum. But yeah, Grimes and Von Wagner. There's a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
I'd actually love to see now that Grayson Waller is the number 1 contender. I don't think it's going to happen. I'd love to see him take that title off Braun Breaker, a conniving heel, get the title, because Braun, even Shawn Michaels he was in the post call or the pre call, whatever it was like, we hope to flesh out Braun Breaker before he goes to main roster.
Well, that's great news.
Well, it's been a year.
Yeah,
it's been over a year.
Been more than a year. Yeah.
Why haven't they been doing that this whole time?
Months.
I don't need a Steiner fishing and being cordial.
That's fleshing out the character. He's intense in the ring, outside of the ring, like super friendly dude.
Oh, it's not that interesting though, man.
I'm not saying it is. I'm saying there's layers there, I guess.
He was even boring as a fisherman. As you and I know, because we've been on a fishing expedition together. It could be very exciting, very interesting stuff.
It can be, yeah. Wild stuff happens out there.
How many times you vomit on that boat?
I lost count. It was a lot.
Oh man, that was awesome. That was awesome.
You and the fish vomited on me.
Yeah.
Still had fun.
That poor fish. Anyways.
Yeah, no.
So yeah. No, that's cool, man. I'm down for some call up, especially Grimes. On Wagner, we'll see. Who give him make him heavy for somebody. Who would it be?
Wow.
Yeah, right.
Put him in the bloodline. Cameron Grimes get called up, and Vaughn's his heavy.
Okay, all right. This is my accountant, Von Wagner and Associates.
There we go.
That sounds like a real thing. Von Wagner and Associates. That sounds like a real thing.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, an injury, an ambulance.
A personal injury lawyer. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Hey, Joe Blow, you get into an accident? I'll help you out. Hey,
if you reached a settlement,
do you need money now? Personal annuity. That's actually not a terrible idea. I love that. Yeah, every time they do like now, all of a sudden they do a preponderance of ambulance matches, and he's always hovering around the ambulance. Hey,
anytime there's any kind of backstage attack. Yeah.
Hey, were you hurt on the job?
Do you have a worker compensation claim?
Have you filed a motion with HR to get workman's comp? Hey, Von Wagner and Associates can help you. Get your stonks. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's great. I think we did it. We cracked it, Larson. That's great. All right, man. Talking about stonks and money. Let's go ahead and pay some bills, Larson.
Let's do it. Let's take a quick break here, friendos. This episode of Going in Raw is brought to you by BetterHelp. You know, there have been times in my life where I kind of wished that life came with the user manual. I know I've talked about it quite a bit here on the show, but I guess about 20 years ago, I was feeling a bit overwhelmed by life's challenges and started dealing with severe anxiety, and I got to the point where I realized that I needed to go to therapy.
Yeah, man. Well, therapists are trained to assist you in processing challenging emotions and helping you to learn productive coping skills, which makes therapy the closest thing we have to that user manual that you're looking for, Larson, of the complex machine called you.
That's right, Steve. And while it took me quite a while to find a therapist I felt comfortable talking to, once I did, I was able to learn the tools I needed to better cope with my anxiety. As the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists available 100% online. Plus, it's affordable.
Yeah, you just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist, and if things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist anytime. It couldn't be simpler.
No waiting rooms, no traffic, no endless searching for the right therapist. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/raw. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
Ooh, time to recap a lot of stuff, Larson. Where do you want to start?
Yeah.
You want to start with Smackdown, or do you want to start with the Deadline or NXT or Final Battle? We could do
Let's
Smackdown.
start with Deadline, because I feel like Deadline...
Okay, all right.
A lot of people were talking about Deadline, I feel like, maybe. Unless I'm imagining things.
No, dude, I did a Google Trends thing this morning because I was kind of curious about that. More people were talking about the Deadline than they were talking about the Final Battles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this might have been NXT's best takeover premium live event style show since it was reborn as 2.0.
All right, that's cool.
I felt like top to bottom, every match was good.
Oh, by the way, we did this a certain way because there was so much stuff going on. I watched the Final Battle and you watched the Deadline, so I have not watched Deadline.
Yes.
I was going to try to fit it in this morning, but I didn't.
Yeah, there was a lot. There was a lot of wrestling over the weekend. Both Iron Survivor Challenge matches were really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
They explored some stories, some backstory, revisited some bits, and it didn't feel like an absolute mess like I was worried.
Yeah.
You know, given the nature of the rules, first time match.
Did the refs ever seem confused?
No.
That's good.
You know, once the match got started, you see how things worked. Like, all right, this makes sense.
Okay.
And in the men's match, they actually several times, especially JD and Axiom, used the penalty box as a weapon.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We had fighting inside the penalty box.
Cool. Okay.
On numerous occasions. Both matches had a lot of really creative spots. And we have now new number one contenders for both the women's and men's title. Roxanne Perez, number one contender for Mandy Rose's women's NXT title. And then Grayson Waller won the match. He'll be facing Braun Breaker at some juncture. During the men's Iron Survivor match, Grayson managed to hit his finish on two people at once.
Oh, cool.
Pinned them one after the other. So as soon as he got in the ring, pretty much, he was up.
Oh,
he had two falls.
Oh, that's cool.
And then right as time was running out, he scored his third fall after Carmelo hits his finish. He throws Carmelo out of the ring. And then he spends about 30 seconds just killing the clock.
Yeah.
Anybody who's on their back of the ring, he pulls them out. Because at this point, Carmelo is the only one who's like not selling something. So he's chasing Waller around the ring. Waller's running away. Again, anytime anybody's on their back, he's pulling them out of the ring so they can't be pinned. And he runs through the ring, gets on the other side of the floor just as time expires. It was a really fun finish. Both matches really good. JD McDonough got completely shut out, the men's one.
Wow. The only guy, the only one to get shut out?
Yeah. Everybody else had at least two.
Yeah, okay. That's funny because that Devil Inside is like a snappy move, you know. It's like
I know.
You just whoop do it and yeah.
So one time he came out of the box and he got in the ring and I think he hit basically everybody with a Devil Inside.
Oh, no, yeah.
And he's standing in the middle of the ring. And then everybody, you know, they're selling the move for a bit. And then everybody else stands up and looks at him. And he's staying in the middle of the ring.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And then everybody just like hits moves and takes them out.
Oh man.
Isla Dawn had a really great match against Alba Fire.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. Did they do like
good.
supernatural stuff in it?
Yeah. Somehow Isla made the ref like start spilling mist out of the ref's nose and mouth. I know.
That's cool.
But it wasn't like he was misting people. It was just kind of like spilling out.
Yeah.
And then New Day are your new tag champs, beating Pretty Deadly in a fun bout.
Pretty surprised when I saw that. I mean, it's cool. Yeah, I don't know. You said it's a good match, though, right? Yeah. Shawn Michaels said that he hopes to have those NXT tag titles, show up on main roster because obviously New Day they're a big deal. They're going to be still on main roster. But yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's kind of whenever somebody comes to main roster. I mean, that's just because the precedent, with the exception of like Dolph, obviously, which I was surprised then too.
Yeah.
When he held that title. But generally speaking, somebody comes to NXT from main roster, they're for second. They're not winning any titles. We saw, Apollo Crews. I think he's going to stay with NXT for a little while. At least that's what Shawn Michaels said he wants to have happen. New Day's a big deal.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if they would do this, but man, seeing them with Ricochet. Obviously, we know Big E's probably going to be. It's going to be a while before we even know if he's planning on actually coming back. It's going to be March
until I think he has another checkup. I think is what he said. They're giving it a year.
But Ricochet with the New Day could be a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. You want to call him something else at that point, though. You don't want to. What's like a cheesy 80s? There's like when somebody leaves and somebody comes in. The only one I can think of is Voltron, when one of the Voltron dudes got so fucked up he couldn't be like one of the lions anymore or tigers, whatever it is. And then like they brought the princess in to replace him.
Yeah.
It's like that.
They still called it Voltron, didn't they?
They still called it Voltron, yeah. Mm-hmm. But that was only 1/5 of the people there. What's another situation where a popular character is taken out and then like somebody else comes in?
I mean, it happens like in bands all the time.
Happens in bands, yeah.
But a lot of times, depending on who it is that leaves and gets
like
replaced.
Stone Temple Pilots is still a thing because they just got a dude who sounds the same with Alice in Chains. They just got a dude who sounds exactly.
But there was
like
that spell where that wasn't the case, where the rest of the band, sans Weiland, started up a new thing.
Talk show.
Yeah. So they renamed it then.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, yeah, because Weiland was still alive, so it's not like they were doing, Stone Temple Pilot songs.
Yeah. Maybe they were alive. I don't know. Anyways, Drew Gulak is seemingly going to get into a program with Damon Kemp.
Oh, that's cool.
Backstage interview.
That's cool. That's fun.
And then the main event, Apollo Crews versus Braun Breaker, I thought was good. It felt maybe a tad abrupt, the finish. Mm-hmm. I thought it ended up being shorter than I thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. But then you have, after Braun wins, after hitting a spear, Waller runs to the ring, hits his finisher, and then holds up the title. All in all, a really great show. When Roxanne Perez won the Women's Iron Survivor bout, you can tell Booker T getting a bit overcome with emotion because, I think he helped train her.
I think she was part of the reality of wrestling, yeah. No, that's fantastic, man. That's
finish
really
that one is really good too because Roxanne ended up hitting the fall that won her the match on Cora Jade, and right as time is about to run out, Cora hits Roxanne with double underhook DDT, and then Roxanne rolls to the apron, so Jade can't pin her. Time runs out, Roxanne wins.
Thank you for your book report, Steven. You're up for your book report. Let's talk about this first. So try as he may, Tony Khan was not able to land a TV deal for Ring of Honor Weekly Television. There was a press release that was sent out saying, hey, guess what? Our big TV deal, it's going to be Honor Club, $10 a month, baby. Back. And you get all that old stuff. 90 days after pay-per-views air, they show up on Honor Club. And you get all that old content as well as along with weekly television. I guess the idea is somewhere towards the beginning of 2023, they're going to begin that weekly television. I don't know if there was anything that was like the driving force behind them not being able to find a new television deal. I mean, you look at the ratings on Rampage, and they certainly don't help their case. I mean, Rampage is in a god-awful time slot. If you look at Dynamite, like, you know, generally speaking, I know this week I think there was like some issues with Spectrum Television, like it affected 30 million homes or something.
Customers had issues with the broadcast,
But generally speaking, like, you know, in a good time slot on a good day, Dynamite does really good numbers. They're especially the demo thing, you know, does really well. But you know, that Rampage, I don't know if maybe they're like, hey, we're looking more at Rampage because it's sort of it is AEW bulletproof. Can they be a destination? It's not really bulletproof because you look at the Rampage number. And maybe that factored into it. I don't know. But maybe they're just like, hey, you know, TV is saturated with wrestling right now.
It is.
Between, you know, the
really
big three, or WWE, AEW, and Impact, I guess we can consider that a big three.
Well, it's even interesting that they couldn't find a streaming home for it either outside of Honor Club.
Yeah, right.
You know, like HBO Max, or I guess they're merging HBO Max and Discovery Plus. Is what
it's just going to be Max now. That's what I read. It's just going to be Max.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah. I don't know. One thing that obviously does not help is the fact that Warner Brothers Discovery is a fucking mess right now.
Yes.
It is an absolute
cost cutting
mess.
at this juncture, it seems like.
It's all about cost cutting, and there's been like numerous executives that have like resigned just in the last 2 weeks. So maybe this was a situation where there's so much upheaval that no deals are being done.
That could be.
I don't know if that's the case, but that wouldn't shock me because, like, I think the head of, I don't know what, one of the executives that was a big fan of AEW just left. And maybe she was I think it was a woman. She was the point person with those deals. And maybe they're just not happening right now. Maybe he was trying to wait it out. You can only wait so long because the demand is there and you can't have this stuff. The only problem that I foresee with Honor Club is, I know you've got Rampage and you've got Dynamite to promote that stuff, but otherwise people have to buy in to see the build.
Yep.
And I don't know if that's going to hurt pay-per-view at all. I don't know.
I don't know either, but I would not be surprised to still see
a
handful of stories, Ring of Honor stories, take place on Dynamite and Rampage. I know Tony Khan on the media call before Final Battle pretty much said you're not going to see as much of it. But I would be pretty surprised if it was just all on weekly Ring of Honor TV whenever that starts. I still think like Claudio's not going to be on Dynamite.
Right. Yeah.
Especially the Blackpool Combat Club are still going to be a thing. He's still going to be there.
I
guess another thing to ask though is when are they going to do Ring of Honor TV? Is that going to be a separate taping? Are they going to put it on at the end of Dynamite or Rampage or something?
Yeah,
because they already do like an hour of
Dark and Elevation,
Dark and or Elevation before Dynamite, I believe, and sometimes they do Rampage after Dynamite. So that's like 4 hours already right there.
My guess they would do bulk tapings like Impact does. Maybe not to that degree. Maybe it's like once per quarter that Impact does. That's a joke, but
I think that's why they do Dark Elevation when they shoot at Universal. They do bulk tapings like that.
Yeah. So it wouldn't shock me if they did bulk tapings for Ring of Honor. I mean, if they can draw once a month, even close to the crowd they got at Final Battle, that was a decent sized crowd right there. But I don't know. And then, I mean, once, obviously they're sort of going to just wait out weekly television and have it on Honor Club in the meantime. It is interesting, though. Sorry, go ahead. No, you go ahead. I was going to dive into
I was going to say maybe another issue is, we've seen the pay-per-views. This is the third one. Really the second one, I guess. That's been completely, under the AEW umbrella. Maybe TV executives are hesitant to put money into another wrestling program without really knowing what it's going to look like.
Sure.
Yeah, you could show them Dynamite, Rampage, you can show them the pay-per-views, but without seeing the full-time Ring of Honor roster in action, maybe they're like, we don't know how marketable this necessarily is at this juncture, especially if Wonders is all about cutting costs. And if there's no easy way to monetize this and make the money back, via advertisements and whatnot, they ain't going to do it.
Yeah.
They ain't going to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, they had like a Batman movie that was completely shot, and they canned it.
That's nuts.
That is crazy.
That is still nuts. Michael Keaton was in that movie too.
Yeah.
Like the return of Michael Keaton as Batman was that movie.
Yeah.
And they canned it.
Yep.
That's infuriating.
It really is. It's pretty crazy.
Because
they didn't want to pay for post-production, right?
Yeah, they wanted a big tax write-off. That's what they wanted. There was still a lot of posts left to be done, but they wanted a big tax write-off. So they had they called it a funeral screening of it on the Warner's lot. You need to watch this half-assed done movie. And Michael Keaton's there. It's like, are you kidding me? You got Michael Keaton in a Batman suit. And who knows what we're gonna do with Flashpoint? Anyways, so yeah,
I mean, right. It was a Batman Beyond movie apparently.
What's that?
Apparently, it was Batman Beyond. That was the movie.
That was the gist of it.
And I think that's what it was. That
it was a Batgirl movie. I thought it was a Batgirl movie.
Oh, okay. Well, people here are saying it was Batman Beyond. I'd heard saw that too.
They said it was a Batman Beyond movie, and the rest of my morning was ruined. What does that mean? No, it was. Oh, they also canceled. He had a Batman Beyond movie as well.
No, it was another movie. Okay, sorry.
This was.
It was Batgirl. That's what I thought too. And then they said it was Batman Beyond. I was like, that's confusing.
Yeah. Oh, Batman Beyond was planned and then canned. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks you, Along Heavy. Getting to the final battle. This felt like it was booked because of the TV deal.
Yes.
I believe that Jericho lost because they didn't get the TV deal. And it didn't really infect much of the program beyond that. But and the Briscoes FTR did put on another match of the year. That match was brutal. God, there is I don't know if I've seen. I don't remember the last time I saw a ref bleed, and to this degree, like this ref, he took a bump and it was just a crimson mask.
Who was the ref?
Oh, I forget. I don't know their names. But yeah, no, that was great. That match was absolutely phenomenal because at first I was like, oh man, they're just gonna. It's a dog collar match, but man, they made use of the dog collar. That was the other thing. If they're going to be on a Warner station, I don't know that the Briscoes would have won.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so you had FTR losing to the Briscoes because they're going to be an Honor Club.
Mm-hmm.
You had also Wheeler Yuta beat Daniel Garcia. And I hope that pro wrestlers beating sports entertainers will further the story of Garcia. I wasn't even a huge fan of that match. There was a lot of Garcia doing sort of sports entertainery, like he was healing up a lot, but not like in a vicious attack way. He was just preening a lot during this match. I wasn't huge onto this match. There was like a couple cool spots here and there, but Wheeler Yuta ended up beating him with a bunch of elbows and getting the pure title back. I don't necessarily think that would have happened without the TV deal. But if he decided, hey, look, I'm gonna put that belt back on Claudio because we're going on Honor Club. Not going to have it on Jericho. Maybe it was an opportunity to tell a story. Jericho Appreciation Society might be falling apart at this point because they lost everything they had to pro wrestlers.
Yeah. Except 2.0. 2.01.
2.01. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they won. That was in the. I didn't watch the kickoff stuff. Top Flight beat the Kingdom, which was kind of weird.
That was a bit surprising.
I guess it's not surprising though. They treat the Kingdom like shit, anyways.
Yeah.
Willow Nightingale beat Trish Adora. I want to watch that match. Willow's great. She's super over. Yeah. 2.0 beat Cheeseburger and Eli Isom. Jeff Cobb beat Massacre Dorada, but then on the main card, so it opened up with Blake Christian and AR Fox. It was a really fun match versus LFI. It was Roosh and Dralistico.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a really good match. And the finish saw AR Fox hit a 450 senton on Dralistico. And he pins him, and the ref counts. And right when the ref hits 3, Dralistico gets his shoulder up, which is not abnormal for like it beat 2.99999.
Yeah.
Well, that ref's hand hit, and then he rang the bell, and everybody looked thoroughly confused at that point. And then like Roosh almost immediately like went out because AR Fox got out of the ring, and he clobbered him, and they hit him with a bunch of chairs and everything. And now apparently, and Roosh also attacked the ref. Now Roosh is quote unquote suspended.
Yeah, saw that.
And I don't know if that was just a really quick, we fucked up. Let's get in there and like make this a mess,
Let's get our heat back. Yeah.
Yeah. And even the crowd was chanting, "You fucked up" to the ref. Like, that's always kind of annoying. It's like, man, how do you guys don't know it was botch? It looked kind of like a botch.
Yeah.
But everybody's face was so good. Even the crowd, like, I was looking at the crowd when that happened, and they're like, what? That wasn't what I had my channel points on.
Exactly.
So that was kind of funny. Athena versus Mercedes Martinez. Athena, as always, is just great. She's awesome. Yeah. I love her as champion. I think that's great. So yeah, that was a solid match. Athena's really good. She hit the I think she hit the O-face to get the win here.
All right.
Swerve in Our Glory. This was cool because what's his face? Swerve walked out on Keith Lee. Keith Lee was down, and he had both JD and Shane Taylor. Like, they had him dead to rights. Keith Lee was out. Keith Lee collapsed when JD went for a head kick, and he kicked Shane Taylor instead. And he started freaking out. So Keith Lee had time to get up, whoop-ah, hit his finish, and got the win. And Swerve looks like a big asshole now because he was watching from the stage.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was good stuff. And of course, obviously, Keith Lee and Swerve, just bitching at each other the whole time.
Oh yeah.
The Embassy beat Dalton Castle and the boys. This one, the writing was kind of on the wall. Obviously, Tony Khan likes the Embassy, and they had what's his face, Prince Nana out there. But yeah, they ended up getting rid of Castle and one of the boys, and they hit their finish on one of the other boys. But Dalton Castle's great. I hope he sticks around. I hope he goes up to main roster. I hope he goes to AEW because he is so damn entertaining.
He really is.
Like I mentioned already, Wheeler Yuta defeated Daniel Garcia for the Pure title. The Briscoes beat FTR in probably the bloodiest match I've seen this year.
Wow.
I think they ended 2022 because everybody had a crimson mask. It was one of those where it was like blowing out the TV red.
Yeah. I mean, even when the ref has a crimson mask, that's saying something.
Yeah, it was a lot of red.
That would be high up there on the Muda scale.
Yeah, super high Muda scale.
So then, how's the Samoa Joe Juice Robinson bout?
I think Juice might have gotten 2 moves off during the course of like a 8-minute match. Wow. Maybe it was 10 minutes. Joe murdered him. Yeah, it was a lot of Joe just murdering Juice. I think Juice's win was not being hit with an Uranagi on the concrete. Gotcha. That was his win.
Wow.
It was kind of awesome. It was like my match of the night. Joe just murdered him. Juice got like nothing off, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, Juice got killed with a muscle buster in the end. And then Chris Jericho tapped out to a swing.
So I saw some people criticizing that, but in my mind, I was like, oh, he's probably thinking about when he got swung on top of the cage at Blood and Guts.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
He's like, I don't want nothing to do with this.
I love that Chris Jericho is willing to lose to moves that people think are silly, but if you think about them logically, Claudio was not stopping. He was deep into the 20s on the number of swings.
Wow.
Yeah, he was not stopping. And Jericho, credit to him, because you got to use your core to keep up like that.
Yeah.
And he wasn't going anywhere either. And he started tapping while he was swinging.
That's pretty great.
It was good. I like that kind of shit. I haven't seen anybody. Has anybody tapped out to the swing? I thought somebody got pinned after a swing before, but maybe not. But yeah, it was very clever. I liked it. If you're going to go out in kind of a ridiculous fashion, I'm cool with that.
Mm-hmm. Ultimately, lose to a move that seems more sports entertainment than pro wrestling.
Sports entertainers. Yeah, no, absolutely. Twitch chat and YouTube chat. If you guys can load up some questions for us, because I totally forgot to put up a question thread of any type. So maybe we can do.
We'll have enough. We haven't even talked about Smackdown and Rampage yet, so we'll have enough for a show.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we just went to the pay-per-views here. Let's talk about Smackdown.
Yes. So they got something planned for Sammy next week in Chicago.
Oh my God, he's getting jumped out.
Because Jay, so the Usos beat Sheamus and Butch to open the show, and later on, they're in the locker room. Sammy's hyped, Jimmy's hyped, Jay's hyped. They're all feeling really oosy. So Sammy's like, "Let's go get some food." And so Solo and Jimmy walk out, and Jay's like, "Wait, hold on a second. You need to go." He tells Sammy, "You need to go and get your hair cut, trim up your beard a little bit."
Yeah, look good.
And Sammy's like, "Well, why?"
Mm-hmm,
he says, "Well, Roman is going to be on SmackDown next week, and I feel like it's going to be a pretty huge night for you. And of course, Sammy's thinking, "Oh, I'm getting the name. I'm going to be Sammy Uso."
Yeah, right. No, man, you're going to get jumped out. That's clear as day. Yeah, it's going to be sad because he's going to look all nice. I think he's been growing everything out for this moment.
Yeah.
He's going to get trimmed up. He's going to look like he did when he first showed up in 2015. He's going to look super trimmed up.
That would be crazy if he cut all his hair off.
I know. If he got totally clean.
I know.
Trying to go the extra mile.
Yeah.
And then he's going to get eviscerated. Just murdered.
I'll run this by you. What if that's the expectation, obviously?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And what if they subvert that expectation, even so far as to have Roman maybe just overtly telling Sammy, you're not going to be the same at the end of this night or something like that,
Yeah.
Everything is, we're going to beat the shit out of you. Only
they don't
for it to not go that way, but to tease it so heavily that you start feeling those emotions that Sammy is gonna get kicked out, but then it's relief because it doesn't happen. And so next time it happens, they're in that same situation. You're like, well, are they going to mess with him again?
Do you think
no.
Do you think it'd be more effective if the jump out was a surprise?
Yeah.
Because I get the feeling this is going to be. I'm trying to remember the Festival of Friendship.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody saw that coming, or did we? Did we
There was
see
a
that
couple
coming?
seeds. I kind of remember a couple seeds being planted of tension between the two of them, but nothing major. No.
Yeah.
Was that conversation wasn't the conversation that Kevin Owens had with Triple H on that episode that was never explained?
Oh, was that the one? I thought that was. I thought that
the night
was
he
when
won the Universal Championship.
That was the night he won the Universal Championship.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be a situation where they have good intentions and they end up and Sammy fucks up in some way. I hope it's not. I hope Roman just has his mind made up. He's like, no, this is happening. Yeah. And I would prefer.
So no, it wasn't Night Festival of Friendship that Triple H was talking to Kevin Owens.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So I kind of remember that. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I would like Jay to be completely on board with Sammy. Like, I want Jay to be surprised that this is going down. Yeah. Like, Roman doesn't trust Jay now. Roman's like, I can only really trust Solo and Jimmy with this info. I cannot trust you because you're such a mess. Because that's what's been established. Jay's kind of a mess. Yeah. And Jay's like, oh, what the fuck? This guy leveled up. He leveled up. And this is how you treat him. Yeah, so it'd be nice if Jay, honest to God, thought and embraced the idea that Sammy was going to become Sammy Uso. Mm-hmm. And if you do that at the thing, or like you're saying, subvert expectations and don't do it, but do it later, I don't know. But
it kind of feels like there's still story to be told before you get to him getting jumped and kicked out,
Yeah, I think so. I think also, like, I don't know if it's a situation, because Sammy once again helped him get the win on Friday. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like now might be a good time, but I could see them if they have some good ideas to continue to tell, you could still wait a little bit longer. But then you've also got like the Rumbles in 6 weeks, Elimination Chambers right after that. So yeah. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Let's see here. What else did we have? We had that the Ricochet and Gunther contract signing. Yeah. Did this sway you one way or the other? What happened at the end? Didn't Ricochet and New Day
they beat Imperium, so Gunther's totally winning next Friday.
Yeah, that's totally happening. I like this, though. They're building it to be a big match, and I like that. It's contract signing, and then it leads to the New Day and a 6-man. It seemed like a big deal. Yeah.
Before we get to the breakdown, let's talk about LA Knight, Bray Wyatt. Oh, man. LA Knight went to the production truck and put together a video package showing all the... We still don't know the name of the other mask, not Uncle Howdy, but the other one. I just referred to Uncle Harper because they had the trademarks at the same time.
Bray Wyatt's toy mask, yeah.
Yeah. Lurking in the background every time he's been attacked. Mm-hmm. And saying, hey, here, it's clear as day he's attacking me. But if no one else is going to do anything about it, I'm going to. Mm-hmm. And he goes in search of Bray backstage, goes into a locker room, The only thing in there is one of Bray's merch shirts. Lights go off. LA Knight gets his phone out, turns the flashlight on in his phone, kind of pans around, and there's masked Bray Wyatt, one would assume.
Yeah.
And not Uncle Howdy mask. Seemingly ready to strike.
Yeah. This feud is great. LA Knight really is kind of booked like an idiot, who just says, I'm going to go back there and find you,
Yeah. It's great, though.
Oh, it's amazing. It's really fantastic. It's just like two so separate personalities that I'm shocked that in this new era of Triple H being in charge, Bray Wyatt's cool with this because it's so silly. It's so silly, and LA Knight's he's just a goofball. Yeah, but no, I liked his promo was great though. His promo was absolutely great.
Oh, it really was.
They were showing footage of him being buried. All right, let's cut away from that. It's not a snuff film. That was funny.
Yeah, it was good stuff. I guess we can jump into it. Show open up with Sheamus and Butch challenging the Usos for the tag titles. As you mentioned, Sammy helps the Usos get the win. Usos ultimately hit a 1D on Butch to retain the titles. After that, we're backstage. I guess this would be the pre-party for Kurt Angle's birthday celebration.
Yeah, there was the celebration in the ring, but then there was the party backstage, and that's where we're at here. And Gable Stevenson's there with him. Hey, so seeing these two together, I like that as a fit. I don't know if Kurt Angle would want to travel when Gable Stevenson shows up, but one thing that I noticed with Stevenson is that obviously he still needs sort of practice doing promo stuff, just talking.
Yeah.
He sort of seems reserved. But if he's sort of a wrestling machine like Kurt Angle was, and Kurt Angle is sort of his no-nonsense, almost like a Paul Ellering type manager. I mean, I know we all like Kurt Angle doing the goofy stuff, but come on, this guy, he's a fucking Olympic gold medalist. He won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck.
Yep.
I kind of like the idea of Kurt Angle being a dick and Gable Stevenson just being his wrestling machine guy. And I kind of like that pairing if that's something that they would be interested in.
Yeah, it could be something.
As opposed to just Gable Stevenson on his own. I wouldn't be really into that.
Yeah. So they're backstage, and then Braun walks up, wishes Kurt a happy birthday, and he tells Gable, hey, when you're done at the Performance Center, come to SmackDown and get these hands. And Gable's like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, Braun's all super happy. Hey, Kurt, oh, man, it's great to see you. I like that they're sort of just allowing Braun to be his own self, Hey, Kurt, it's great to see you, man. Oh, excuse me. Gable, oh, man, I'm so happy you're at the PC. It's great.
Yeah, he was super excited, super happy, up-tempo. High energy, Braun.
Life is looking good for Braun Strowman.
Seemingly.
Michael Cole confirmed that John Cena is going to be on the last SmackDown of 2022. That was originally reported, I think, by Variety.
Yeah, I think that's what they said.
So LA Knight comes out, crowd boos him. He says, I don't recall asking you nothing. I'm talking now, so let me talk to you. Bray Wyatt, yeah. It's obvious that I've struck a nerve in you. It's obvious that I've struck fear in you. Let's go ahead and think about that for a second, because week after week I get blindsided, and then you say to everybody, I didn't do it, but if I did do it, there'd be none of them left. Right? Wrong. Yeah. Incel, because every single time you put me down, guess what? Here I am. And you want to know how I know it's you? Let's show this footage right here. And he throws the footage of him being buried under a bunch of shit. And they hold on that. He says, all right, that's enough. Cut away from that. It's not a snuff film. He says, you want to see what happened there? See, out of context, that could be anybody. Let's go ahead and look at what happened before that. And he throws a video to him leaving the arena with that other Uncle Harper, whatever it is, mask creeping in the background. He says, oh, what's that right there? Look at that. It's one of Bray's toys. Yeah. Throws to another bit of video where he's stuck behind the road case. And they freeze frame that. He's like, oh, look at that. And you notice there's like a security guard off to the side. He's like, no, not that guy's fat head. Look over here, another Bray Wyatt toy. Yeah, I told you already what you could do with you and your puppets there, Bray. And then it goes, and then we get an Uncle Howdy promo. And dude, I think what you were talking about last week is even tenfold this time. It was basically just Bray Wyatt's voice.
Yeah, I feel like week after week it's becoming more and more Bray.
Yeah, I think so. He's like, what are you waiting for, man? Don't you want to be respected, to be feared? He deserves to be punished. He deserves to suffer. The door's closing. And then back to LA Knight. He's like, oh, my God. If you need any more evidence, you'd have to be a cross-eyed half-wit to not tell that was him. If anybody else is going to do something about it, I will. So I'll come back and find you right now. Yeah! And then he leaves the ring and goes backstage.
He does. We get a quick Legato digital exclusive. They're worried about facing the Viking Raiders, but then Santos is about to answer. You hear Shotzi screaming off camera. Camera crew goes follow. So what's going on? Ronda and Shayna are walking away while Shotzi's still screaming, holding her hand. Then we have an interview with Ronda and Shayna. And they're asked, well, are you taking things too far outside of the ring? And Shayna's like, what are you applying? All I saw was Shotzi crying. She could have fell. Or maybe she's like Raquel and Natalia and unlucky. And then Ronda says, they're fragile. Tell the China shop that the Bulls are coming. Then Liv and Tegan step in and pretty much say, you've beaten everybody but us. And then Shayna says, well, you know what they say. You mess bull, you get the horns.
Yeah. And Liv's like, I'm fine with my horns. Yeah, no surprise. Shayna took the pin there. After that, we had Legado del Fantasma versus the Viking Raiders. Hit Row's music hits, though. B-Fab walks out to the ramp. Top Dollar and Ashanti take out Cruz and Del Toro during the match, so it leads to a DQ here. I like this for Hit Row because they're doing something.
Yeah.
You know, and this is what you need to do. Look, Triple H, by and large, has it right. People just want to see people do cool shit.
You got that right.
That's what people want to see. And this is cool shit, going out and hitting a bunch of people with chairs, and then we'll get like a triple threat tag team match, and it protects everybody. So, yeah, I thought this was cool for them. I just want to see a little bit more Hit Row talking to us, you know?
Yeah.
Like, let's get to know these people beyond the fact that they're like rappers or whatever. I want to know like who they are. That's not enough.
Exactly. Then we're backstage. LA Knight, I mentioned this, looking for Bray. Goes in the locker room, lights go out, gets the phone out, sees Bray and not Uncle Howdy Mask.
The execution here is a bit cheesy, though, because like he turns and he sees the mask and they just hold too long on it.
I know.
So it's just
it
awkward.
cut as soon as he saw the mask.
Yeah. And then LA Knight just says, wow, or something like that. And I was like, oh, that was not necessary.
Yeah. And this is one of those things they should have shot with a better camera so that it's the broadcast camera.
I agree. Yeah, you're absolutely right. This should have looked like Blair Witch or some shit, you know?
Yep. Then we're backstage again at the Kurt Angle's birthday party. There's someone who walks in with a card that says #1 dad. They pan out as Jason Jordan. That was cool.
I love that. I really wish that he was on screen as a manager. Hey, what about Jason Jordan with Gable Steveson?
That could be something.
That'd be kind of maybe cool. See Jason Jordan get a little more serious.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Just throwing out ideas. I'm just bummed out in this episode of SmackDown they didn't give Jason Jordan and Chad Gable a moment together. I thought for sure when Alpha Academy showed up we were going to get that. Oh, that could have been so good.
Imagine if it was... I know they wanted Gable Steveson out there. Let Jason Jordan ride in on that milk truck too.
Oh, that would have been nice.
At the end.
I know. That would have been nice. Yeah. After that, we had the Ricochet Gunther contract signing hosted by WWE official Adam Pearce. The New Day interrupts as Pearce kicks things off. Wood says, Adam, we're sorry for interrupting. Want to make sure that we got a front row seat. Kofi's like, we all know how these contract signings go. Gunther's going to get mad. Imperium gets mad. Then they all jump Ricochet. We can't have that. Adam Pearce really doesn't put up much of a fight. He's like, yeah, you're probably right. So Wood says, we could have stood in the back and watched what was going on. We want to make sure we were by Ricochet's side when he signs this. And we want to be here in case anybody from Imperium has a problem so that we can engage in fisticuffs and whoop your asses right here in Pittsburgh. And then, so Gunther grabs the mic. He says, Ricochet, I want you to remember something. I'm the one who took the title off you. I've beaten you twice, proving you're not worthy of being IC champ. He says, next week I'm going to beat you again. There's nothing that can save you from that. The difference between us and you and your two goofs is that we respect this great sport. We're professional wrestlers, not entertainers. And then Ricochet's like, hey, Ricochet makes a joke. He's like, oh, so you guys, because Gunther says we're not performers.
Yeah.
And Ricochet says, oh, you guys have a problem performing? And then the New Day this leads an Imperium can't perform chant.
Mm-hmm.
They're obviously thinking that he meant their dicks can't get bricked up. Yeah. So Ricochet says, well, let's take your personal issues aside. Let's get serious. He says, because next week you're in for the fight of your life. He says, I don't give up. I'll take that IC title off your shoulder. And then Gunther and Ricochet toss the furniture out of the ring. Man, Gunther chucked that table like it was nothing.
With ease.
Yeah. And then, the people ringside when that table was there, they like look down because I think the table hit something down there. And they're like, ooh, look what happened. So then Pierce is like, yeah, okay, this is happening. Let's get a ref to the ring. Then we get a 6-man.
Yep. They gave this match a ton of time.
Yeah, they did.
Ricochet got the win, pinning Ludwig, I believe, after Kofi hit Ludwig with Trouble in Paradise. Ricochet gets tagged in, hits a shooting star press to get the win, which pretty much guarantees he's not winning next week.
Yeah, maybe. Back to Kurt Angle's birthday celebration. Alpha Academy tries to come in. They said, we're on the list. Shoosh. Bouncer says no. Street Profits come over. They're on the list. Gable asks the bouncer to check again. No go. Sorry.
Yep. Then we get the segment we talked about with Bloodline in the locker room where Jay is telling Sammy something huge is planned for you next week after you've been leveling up after what you did at War Games. Get the haircut, trim the beard a little bit.
Yeah.
Then we got Rey Mysterio in the trainer's room, and then Cross.
I like this. I like
this too. So Karrion Kross and Scarlett step in. The trainer's like, "You can't be here." He says, "Security."
Yeah. That trainer had a set on him, huh? Hey, you can't be here. Number one, why would anybody say that to Scarlett? Number one. Number two, Kross is a big dude. You don't want to say that to him.
So then Kross tells Rey, relax. It's not like that. So I heard about your predicament, and I came as soon as I could. This whole situation with your son Dom, this whole falling out, it's pretty heartbreaking. You must be in hell. And Rey says, yeah, I am. And Kross says, you've shown restraint. That's got to count for something. You've turned the other cheek. You've turned the page, come to SmackDown for a new beginning, and then this happens. Speaking about Rey's injury. And he says, do you know that Scarlett is from Romania? Says, life can be pretty rough for some people over there, especially as a kid growing up. And Scarlett told me a story. I'm going to share that story with you right now. When she was a kid, her family had a horse, a championship horse, and eventually the horse couldn't run as fast or jump as high as it used to, but the family still needed it, so they strapped a cart to it and became a workhorse. And even then, eventually, it couldn't drag the cart, and Scarlett never forgot the look in that horse's eyes, this broken look when it realized it was totally useless. Rey, it's always sad when you see that you've got to put an animal out of its misery. And just then, after he says that, security steps in and says to Kross, "Is there a problem?" Kross goes, "No problem." Look at the time, Rey. TikTok.
Yeah. Do you think that security was enwrapped by that story? You think they were just like off to the side, like, "Oh, this is a good story.
Maybe
what's going to happen to this horse? Like, did they put it down? Did they let it live out its days? What happened with the horse? They eat it? What happened?" But then, he just finished up, and he was like, "Oh, they mean they're gonna kill Rey here? Let's get him out of here."
Yeah,
Rey's probably not. She's only one visitor at a time allowed, please.
Yeah. So after visiting hours in the trainer's room.
Yeah, poor Rey. Isn't it his birthday? Was it his birthday yesterday? I think it was his birthday yesterday.
Oh, maybe.
I hope they're gonna
catch a break, can he?
I hope they film something with Dom.
Oh, that'd be pretty.
Busting up the cake or something like that. Talk about fucking feud of the year, man.
Oh, I know.
Ray and Dom, Did
you look at the nomination list for Friendo Awards yet?
No, I need to. I'm going to do that today. I've been everything I've been consuming. It's mentally, I've been doing the ACW stuff in my head.
Yeah. You'll like one of the potential nominees for Breakout Star of the Year. Then we got a Tegan Nox video package to introduce her to the SmackDown audience again. She was on SmackDown before. Then we had Lacey Evans, another of these basic training video packages.
What'd I text you on this one, man?
That she was in full makeup for going through basic training, and sure enough.
That shit cracked me up, man. Is Natalya doing the voiceover?
Oh, I didn't notice.
It sounds like Natalya. I could be tripping on this one if anybody else knows. But when I was listening to the voice, I'm like, oh, that's not Natalya. But it just, in my head now, it just looks like Natalya. It's like when I was watching a Deadlock Pro Wrestling the other day. They had their intro music, and it's a song. There's lyrics and stuff. And in my head, it's Pulse singing it. No. It's James from Deadlock singing that shit. I don't think it is. It's probably not Natalya, but I'm like, man, it sounds like Natalya doing this.
Oh, you never know.
But yeah, Lacey Evans, basic training, makeup on point.
Yeah.
After that, we had Liv Morgan and Tegan Nox versus Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey. During the match, Raquel Rodriguez comes down, and refs and producers are trying to keep her from getting in the ring. Ronda goes over to confront her. Shayna locks on a clutch on Liv while the ref is distracted by Raquel. Liv breaks it up with a jawbreaker. Tegan follows the shiniest wizard, and then Liv gets the cover for the win on Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler's eating pins left and right for Ronda Rousey here.
I was hoping that when she started teaming up with Ronda, those days of eating pins were long gone. Not so much.
Not so much.
They were backstage, and Street Profits are starting up a "You Suck" chant at Kurt Angle's birthday in honor of the birthday boy, Kurt Angle. And he says, "All right, it's time for a celebration." And Gable's like, "Hey, do you want me to go out there with you?" And Kurt says, "No, stay here. Enjoy yourself. I got this taken care of."
Yeah.
So then we get that next. He comes to the ring. Thanks to the crowd. He's interrupted basically immediately by Alpha Academy. Gable's talking a bunch of crap because he's offended that he wasn't invited to the party. And he says, "I know why. You didn't want me, a real Olympic hero, upstaging you at your birthday." And he says, "Get out of here. You got no integrity. You lost your intensity. If you have a shred of intelligence left, you'll get out of this ring. Celebration is over. Otis is going to eat your birthday cake. And if you don't, you might just end up with another broken freaking neck." So Kurt leaves the ring. And Otis starts eating the cake. Chad Gable's eating some cupcakes. So Kurt walks up the ramp and turns around and says, "If you're going to eat cake, you're going to need a lot of milk." And he starts waving towards like one of the sides of the stage. And out comes a milk truck. Gable Stevenson's riding on it. And so that truck parks at the foot of the ramp. They start throwing bottles of milk. And then Kurt goes and gets the hose. The milk hose.
Yeah.
Starts hosing Chad and Otis down with milk, while Wade Barrett and Michael Cole just drop a bunch of really bad milk puns.
Yeah, that was pretty terrible. It was pretty funny, though. Otis reacting to the milk was amazing.
Yeah.
So I was looking this up really quick because Shinsuke was backstage with them, and they actually had a match back in 2008.
Oh.
In New Japan. Because remember, Kurt Angle was like the champion back then for a second. Yeah. Or he was wrestling back then anyways. Was this for the title? Because Shinsuke came in with some title. Comments. Any comments here? I don't see anything. Anyways. So yeah, maybe they're buddies from back in the day.
Could be. It could be. All right. We also had Rampage on Friday.
We did indeed.
Fun Rampage. A couple of really good matches to bookend the show.
And the debut of Trent Seven, man.
Dun, 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 dun.
In a loss against Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, you kind of saw that coming, though.
Yeah.
Mox and Takeshita have really good chemistry because this is their second match, and they've both been really, really good.
Yeah, they're really good matches. Yeah. Mox, of course, bled again.
Yeah,
this time thanks to, I think, a boot it was from Takeshita. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
No, that was a really good match.
Mox got the win, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Hangman comes out afterwards and says, Doc Samson is not going to clear me because of my brain.
Mm-hmm.
But that'll give me a good excuse if I'm not thinking straight. And then he punches Mox, and they start brawling on the floor. And Claudio and Wheeler come to ringside to try to break it up. And then Mox throws Page into the ring post. And they're really leaning on the idea that Page is still dealing with complications from his concussion. They said, Hangman's looking a little unsteady there.
Oh, unsteady. Yeah, it's kind of a drag, man. This year's Winter is Coming is not quite the affair that it's been in past years. There's like House of Blood right now, as announced. MJF versus Starks.
That'd be really good. That'd be a really good match.
No, that'll be really good. We got the Death Triangle versus the Elite in whatever match 4, I guess.
Yeah.
But then it's like House of Black in action.
Yeah.
And then Ruby Soho versus Ty Mello.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, doesn't look good for my prospects on trying to rest Big Red. Yeah, I want to change up predictions for next year, man.
All right, how so?
I don't know. Just stop doing them or something.
Just stop doing them.
Yeah, just stop doing them. You know, I actually had a thought of. Instead of us doing it, we pit the Friendos against each other.
Oh, do we each have a proxy?
Well, whatever. But I was thinking like YouTube versus like Patreon versus Twitch or something like that.
Do polls or something like that?
Because I'm more into, I like the channel points these days. Sometimes predictions are sort of like, number one, from just a business standpoint, like we put some effort into it, but like we don't like talk about it at all except like during the actual thing.
Yeah,
we don't
we'll
like post it on
recaps.
social media.
Yeah.
Like we don't really do them. So it's like, what's the point of them anymore? And like sometimes it saps the fun out of the pay-per-views. I'm like, I'd rather just sit here and enjoy it than worry about, wanting some lopsided match not to go my way. I'm just sort of over it a little bit. I think it'd be fun to do something different. That's all.
All right.
Anyway,
something to talk about.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We had another Powerhouse Hobbs video. I wish that these things were just longer. I wish they wouldn't have split it up into like whatever 5 1-minute segments, and they do like 1 5-minute segment. You know what I mean?
I know. Because I feel like we're getting too small of the story, too little of the story for each one. You know, let's give us like a 5-minute like mini documentary on Hobbs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Yeah,
I think that'd been way more effective than these little. Feels like little teasers, but it's just individual bits of a longer story they're cutting up. You know.
Yeah, you're right. It feels like teasers, but it's not leading to like a big 10-minute docu thing. It's just they take a 10-minute docu thing and split it up into 60-second segments. Yeah. After that, we had a Stokely promo. This is pretty funny. He wants justice for Lee Moriarty because Hook's foot, according to some footage that his friend shot, evidence that his foot wasn't under the rope during their match.
So the hold should have been broken, and therefore Lee would be FTW champion right now.
Lee should beat. What's his face? Hook. I want to see that. Even if it's a cheat win. He's a bad guy. He can cheat.
Totally.
Yeah.
Then we got the Bunny versus Hikaru Shida. This match was a lot of fun.
Yeah, this was cool.
Penelope Ford tried to get involved. Nonetheless, Shida retains, wins with Michinoku driver, follows with her finish, and then Jamie Hayter comes to the stage and holds up her title and starts talking some trash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because they have match next.
Yeah. And then we had a video package for the Ring of Honor women's title, Athena versus Mercedes Martinez. And then we had Lee Moriarty and Big Bill Morrissey.
Mm-hmm.
He's Big Bill now.
Mm-hmm.
I like that whoever it was, JR or whoever's on comment, Big Bill Morrissey. I like that they at least, say, his last name's Morrissey. So it's not just a weird WWE thing where it's like, oh, now he's Big Bill. Big Bill, totally. Yay or nay? You like that name?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, it's like whatever. W. Morrissey's kind of a weird name. It was unique. Yeah, I know. I kind of dug it, but it's unique. It sounds like an old school wrestler name,
Yeah.
George Hackenschmidt versus W. Morrissey.
Yeah.
That sounds right. But in this day and age, Big Bill. I wonder if people call him that anyways. Hey, Big Bill, what's up?
Maybe the people call him.
How's it going? My name is Bill. Big Bill. Versus Clayton Bloodstone and Izzy James.
Predictably, Clayton and Izzy got wrecked.
Big Bill.
Wrecked.
Oh, my.
Because then Bill here pins Izzy after a massive chokeslam.
Big chokeslam. You can't teach that. I got a new name, and you can't teach that.
And then we get an FTR interview. This is pretty much them accepting the Briscoes challenge for Final Battle. We get an Ortiz and Kingston promo. They challenge House of Black to a match at some point. Mm-hmm. Although they didn't say if that was the winner's coming match or not. I'm guessing not.
That's what happened at the very end of Final Battle 2, is that the Ass Boys came out and attacked. And then what's his face Dax was like, we're gonna beat you guys.
Oh, that happened too.
Yeah, that happened at the end of at the end of FTR Briscoes.
Yeah, that match. Yeah. Then we had our pre-main event interview with Kip Sabian and Orange Cassidy. So Kip says, "I'm not cleared to compete, but I found someone from across the pond to bring some class back to this All-Atlantic title." And Orange says, "Oh, can we do this already?" And then Danhausen sneaks into Mark Henry's little window, because there's 3 windows there in this interview. Starts doing Mark Henry's catchfree.
Time for the talk is done.
And of course, Mark's not happy about it.
Yeah, this has a very Scooby-Doo feel to it. I love it. I really do. Yeah, the time for talking's over. He's like, that's my catchphrase. What?
Yeah, and so then Mark Henry does it, and then Danhausen is kind of like lip syncing along to it.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
It was funny. Then we have a Shane Taylor promotion. Shane Taylor and JD Griffey interview. And Shane saying, "Keith, no matter how long you run, the past catches up to you. But you leaving is the best thing to ever happen to me." Ring of Honor.
Yeah. And then we had Orange Cassidy versus his mystery opponent, Trent Seven, who had an embroidered towel.
Yeah.
Which I hope he's going to throw in on Kip Sabian at some point, because that's Trent Seven's thing. That's whoever he's friends with, he throws the towel in for them.
Yeah. This was a fun bout.
Yeah, this is good
Didn't get to see a burning hammer, but Trent pretty much got all of his other shit in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In the end,
the sell on that 7-star Lariat was great.
Yeah. In the end, Orange punch, beach break, Orange retains. So then Kip gets in the ring, starts attacking Orange Cassidy. And he goes over to Trent and is like kind of chewing him out a little bit, pointing finger at him. So then Trent gets over there and starts stomping at Orange Cassidy too. Dustin Rhodes comes out to make the save and then hits Kip with a power slam on the ramp and then Trent with one in the ring.
Yep. That's
like,
right.
Like a tag match at some point.
Yeah, man.
You would think. You wanted questions, yeah?
We got one from Maggie here before we get into it because Paul's he's gonna chime in here in a little bit.
That's right.
It's Monday, so we don't need 200 likes. But hey, if you're on the YouTube, we got 445 people watching. Do us a huge favor.
Give us a like, please.
Hit that like button. Let's get this up to, come on, let's get it up to 200 by the end of the
200
show.
before Paul calls. Call from Paul.
Let's get some questions in here. First from Maggie. She says, why do you guys think the Fed sometimes doesn't pull the trigger on the obvious storytelling choices? For example, Kurt mentioning Alpha Academy, Naomi in the Bloodline before she left, etc. She asked, does obvious storytelling equal boring and predictable in your book?
No, I don't think it equals boring and predictable because even if the outcome may be predictable, there's still paths you can take to make it interesting.
Yeah.
Like this, we knew what the outcome of the Hangman Page storyline was going to be.
Yeah.
Didn't make it any less rewarding in the end.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't necessarily think obvious storytelling is necessarily boring or predictable. It's about the journey, not so much the destination. But as far as why sometimes WB doesn't do that, I chalk a lot of that up to Vince. He didn't really have his finger on the pulse of kind of or he didn't have his finger on the pulse necessarily of what the people might have really wanted.
Sometimes like the obvious thing is just it's obvious because it's cool. Yeah. It's like, man, Naomi should be in the Bloodline. That'd be cool because like she's obviously part of the Bloodline. She's married to Jimmy. And that'd be neat. And who wouldn't want to see like her be kind of a bad guy or, be conflicted because she's like a cool person, but they're doing kind of fucked up things. So no, I think that it's funny because I got somebody in our YouTube comments who declared that, and I can't remember what the actual story was, but the comment was something like, the fact that we knew exactly what was going to happen proves that this is predictable. It's like, okay, well, like I know how most movies are going to end. The good guy is going to win. If it's like a good guy versus bad guy thing, guess what? The good guy is going to win. Yep, it doesn't mean that the journey's not interesting.
Yep.
And sometimes just to see it in action is cool, It's like, oh, man, this fits. It makes so much sense. When the Undisputed Era showed up in AEW, it was like, oh, man, put him against the Elite. It makes sense. And granted, they just got injured and everything, so it wasn't as cool as it should have been. But for a second, it was like, this is kind of cool. The Undisputed Era is in AEW. That's neat.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Zondo has an idea for predictions. What if it's only prop bets? Got one suggested from each platform. How many spears? How many Cierro Miedo's title changes? That kind of stuff.
Wait, what's the question? Sorry.
Just prop bets for predictions, as opposed to picking the outcome of matches.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like for predictions, though, outcome of matches should have some bearing in it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. I'm just sort of over it a little bit, and I want to mix it up. Can we mix it up but this year by putting the enforcer in on it?
Well, and also not doing it on a per show basis. It was monthly.
Yeah.
How about this? How about this? Let's just make it an annual thing. Whoever has the most points at the end of the year.
Oh wow. Ooh, yeah. And they have big red chilling in there for the entire year. That's kind of a cool idea.
So at least that way on a per show basis, it's not as like on the last show of the month, you have to throw a bunch of Hail Marys,
Yeah. I don't know. We can talk about it. I like mixing things up a little bit. Let's see here. Okay, got that one, and nobody here on YouTube. All right, man. Well,
let's get a call from Paul.
Time to get. Do you have any idea like how you're going to approach this?
I mean, there's a lot to talk about. I got something.
All right,
I'm ready.
All right. Well, I'm going to go do my paperwork.
Sure, paperwork, whatever.
I'm going to try. Listen, good news though. Good news. This Friday, I'm going to try to get us all in on the same call.
Good. It's about
this
time.
Friday.
It's about time.
Because, well, no, you know what? Oh, what happened to? Oh, cool. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. About time. Listen to entitled Larson over here.
Well, I mean, it's not for me. It's for the Friendoverse. It's to
No,
lay
it's for
any
you
fear.
because you're always like, oh, I gotta talk to Paul, and I'll take a
No,
little bit
I
of
asked
the weight
you to
off.
do that. Not for anything to me. I can handle talking to Triple H most days. It's for people who are suggesting
what?
that you are the one.
Oh, well, that's easy. I've told you
Voicing.
that's easy. You just say that deep down that I am not the one making these Triple H calls. Simple. This is not.
All right, let's call him in.
All right, I'm going to bring him in. I got some paperwork to do over here. Look at this DMV thing is not going to pay itself.
That's been there for weeks. That's probably past due at this juncture.
I didn't hear what you just said. Here we go. Hello. Hi. Yes.
Hello, Triple H.
Sorry, I had a frog in my throat. Hold on.
Oh, no worries. Did you get some water?
Hello. How can I help you?
Hi, Triple H.
So I heard a rumor. Don't interrupt. I heard a rumor that you were going to have Fat John Cena try to zoom in on our calls. Is that true or false?
Well, I mean,
bad idea. I don't like
that?
it, and I don't want to participate in it.
Why's that?
I feel like I don't need any more friends in my life. I don't need any more acquaintances. I don't need to talk to anybody that I don't want to talk to. I think the idea is insulting that somehow I'm being voiced by Fat John Cena. Come on, that's not, obviously it's not the case. And I'll be honest with you, the game thinks that if you convince the friendos that's not the case, I think that you could get that done.
That's interesting. That's the same point.
Just tell the people, just say out loud, Steve believe that Triple H is his own person making these calls. It's factual. It's true.
Okay, that's something. I'll think about like the proper wording.
You could just do it now. You could just do it right. Just say here. Just repeat after me. I'm
having a hard time hearing you, Triple H.
You want to?
Can we just do the Raw preview?
Yeah,
I actually have a question for you.
What's your question?
So apparently William Regal's coming back to WWE.
Very exciting thing. Steve is great.
Yeah.
I love him. He's coming back. He's got your same name, Steve. It's awesome. Yeah, Steve Regal, William Regal. It's great. Lord William Regal. He was my mentor. Now I'm his mentor.
Yeah. So apparently he's going to be a vice president or something.
Yeah, vice president of everything awesome.
Oh, okay. That's a cool title.
Yeah, I know. It's great, right? New era. No more of these big corporate names. Now it's like, hey, what is he? He's awesome. Vice president of awesome. That's great. Yeah, it's awesome.
That might be my favorite development of the Triple H era. That's great. One last thing, get to the Raw preview. Rumors going around that we're going to get Gunther taking on Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
Yeah, right.
I know you have.
Meat. It's great.
You have creative plans in place, I assume, for everybody
Carte
for
blanche.
years in advance.
Yeah, right.
I'm excited for that bout because
is there a question here? Good Lord, you are just beating around the bush, man.
What chances does Gunther have in this particular bout?
You mean like what you like to not get murdered? Probably pretty high. To win, 0.
All right.
This is Brock Lesnar. He's a big attraction. The way Gunther's losing weight, by the time we get to WrestleMania, I'll be lucky if he's 95 pounds. He's going to look like Cheeseburger. Not a Cheeseburger the wrestler.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, congratulations on your pissant company.
Oh, thank
Action
you.
Coast Wrestling.
I'm happy you noticed.
Yeah, no, we're gonna buy that company. Maybe we'll see. I don't know.
Okay.
It's gonna be NXT Sacramento.
Oh, cool.
What a trash town that is.
All right.
Yes.
Well,
so here's the deal. We're gonna review Raw, but I'm gonna reiterate this Friday. Just me and you. No Fat John Cena. That's not happening. It's just me and you. I will not take the call if it's anybody but me and you. I feel comfortable on this pissant show with one person.
Okay.
And that's you and nobody else.
What if I got 2 options for you?
I got 2 words for you. Suck it. No Fat John Cena on the Zoom call. Just Triple H and Steve.
How about this?
What?
By
the way, I don't appreciate you guys did an episode where you talked about things that I could still fix. Don't appreciate that.
You watched it, though. That's something.
I watched like 5 minutes of it, and I was like, what are you guys talking about? They don't know better than me.
Well, we didn't suggest we do better. It's just things that
it's inherently implied.
All right. So going back to the Zoom call thing, what if it's both of us?
Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley throw down for a U.S. title match. They're going to get an opportunity at the United States Championship, currently carried by shirtless Austin Theory. We gave him a jacket. We gave him a gold chain. We gave him jeans. No shirt. So everybody can see his abs. He's United States champion. And so, yeah, that's what's going to happen tonight on Raw. It's going to be a killer main event.
It'll be a good match. What else do we got?
Alexa Bliss battles Bayley for a championship chance. We had two number one contender matches. That's correct. Alexa Bliss versus Bayley. You think Alexa Bliss is finally gonna do the Bray Wyatt thing because we've been teasing it left and right. We should probably get on that.
Yeah. What else do we got tonight?
Don't interrupt. Candice LeRae targeted. Targets the next damage control number. What? Damage control is now targeted to Candice LeRae.
Why'd you say targeted? How do you know about
targeting? How do I know what? It's just a word. They're now the targeted.
All right. So I'll let you go here in a second, Paul. As far as on Friday, how about both of us do the show or here? You only have to talk to me. Other guy will sit there and do paperwork.
I don't want to see his face. He looks like Fat John Cena. It's disconcerting. It's a very punchable face. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to understand that it exists in my reality.
I didn't know you had
Fat John Cena. Nope. Not going to happen in this universe or any other universe in the multiverse.
All right.
So, yeah. That's not going to happen. Suck it. Why are you singing the DX theme?
Yeah, we do this sometimes.
So, is he on board with Friday?
No, not at all.
What?
No. Flat out refused.
Wait, did you bring it up to him?
No, he brought it up. Interestingly enough.
Wow.
And he said to me, just like you did, that if I were just to say to everybody that this is really Triple H calling in.
There you go. See, you just said it.
No, I said if I would say.
But why wouldn't you just say that?
Because I don't think that's enough for some people.
I think your word carries such weight in our community.
No, my word carries no weight.
They believe you are, for whatever reason.
And also, here's another thing. I'm just going to let you. I'm just going to say this, and you can marinate on it. Mm-hmm. So he was reading this last entry here on the preview, and it says Candice LeRae targets the next damage control member Io Sky, and he said targeted, just like you do when you're the targeted character.
Oh, yeah, this is a word, though. I mean, it's just a word. Like, look, damage control is being
just like you did.
Damage control is being targeted by.
No, but he said
Candice
targeted,
LeRae.
just like that, just like you do for the fake movie trailer we did.
Yeah,
targeted.
It's like sort of a natural way of saying that word.
No, there's nothing natural about it.
This person is targeted. That's just how I say it.
No one says it that way except you. What about that character? Nobody.
No, you just did it. You just said it. Look,
but I was imitating you and him. Listen, Candice
Maggie
LeRae
has a poll.
Has targeted.
Right.
No, I didn't say
your
targeted.
voice went
It's
down.
Different.
Your voice
Targeted.
went down. Maggie's got a poll up. 50%.
Well, now it's less.
Think that you're between yay and absolutely. It's at over 50%. Think that that's good enough for them. Yeah. Definitely. Totally. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. It's only 39% think that no, but they're a bunch of big dummies.
So that's 38% that'll still question the integrity of this whole thing. But if we're both on camera with Triple H talking, that number is going to drop to basically zero, I would think. Mm-hmm. You're still going to have a third of the people in the comments saying, oh, that's not Triple H calling in. How are these two lumps getting Triple H calling in on their show?
Oh, man, there's so much. They're just doing math there, 33%. I don't even know what that means. You know what, man? We're coming off a great weekend. Don't ruin it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you admitted
Triple H would say too.
It's all... You're kind of losing it, buddy. I'll tell you right now.
I'm not losing anything.
You are going kind of crazy. Yeah, hate to see it.
You don't see the bulletin board I have over there with all the red string.
Yeah, I know, man.
Pictures.
Like
you don't
global
see any of that.
localization or something,
Why'd you just
That's
sound like
another
Triple H
one of
there?
those words. Global.
No, global. I don't sound like Triple H when I say global.
You just did.
No, I didn't.
You just did again.
Global.
Ah! You're Triple H now. Oh, you're calling in. See, look, I can do
I don't
it too.
do impressions. You're the impression guy.
Yeah, but not that one. Anyways, yeah, dude, it seems like gaslighting from you. Anyways.
No.
All right, everybody. That's going to do it. Absolutely won with 54% of the vote. Your word is enough. Confirmed. Thank you, Maggie, so much for that. I appreciate that. I'm glad she's on my side here. And yeah, so I guess Friday is off in terms of me being in on that call. If he said he didn't want to do it, then fuck, we're out of it. Anyways, listen. Maybe he'll turn around by Friday. I don't know. Maybe he'll turn around. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Thanks to our sponsor, BetterHelp. We appreciate that. And until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Now we got to hit the live streaming end stream here. Oh,